Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome our new sponsor, Leifs, to The Ride Show. Check them out at leifs.com and start your engines. The Ride Show is a go. We're in New York City for the last big auto show of the season.
Well, it's not only about great fuel economy cars, it's about zero gas cars, and Nissan has rolled out their race car here. It was developed from the Nissan Leaf, and now they're doing things with electric cars that you would never thought were actually possible. We talked to Mark Perry and asked him, explain yourself. We went from a Leaf zero emissions small car to this race car, and there was nothing in between.
EVs can be passenger cars, they can also be fun. We believe that a motorsports category with zero emission, using electric vehicles is something that we should talk about and do. And this is an example of what our engineers can do. I mean, we took the guts of a Nissan Leaf, the battery pack, the motor, the inverter, and built a race car around it. It's a real thing. We do plan to race it. I mean, you look at it, lots of use of carbon fiber. We took almost 40% of the weight out of the Nissan Leaf production car to make this. So 40% lighter. You can just see it. It sits a whole foot lower to the ground. So potholes here in New York, be a little trouble because you can see the ground clearance is pretty low. 18-inch tires and wheels, complete race suspension. It's a double wishbone, and it's a midship kind of setup for the electric motor and the battery pack. Well, we believe hybrids have a role, but it was a bridge technology. I mean, the only way to get to zero is zero. Zero emission, zero tailpipe, zero gas, zero oil. That's what we're all about long term. Now, the technologies to get us there, I mean, right now the Nissan Leaf is a perfect car for your daily driver. 100 miles worth of range, room for 5 adults. That's a good mass market approach, but it's not a vehicle for everybody. It's not designed to tow. It's not designed to pull a bass boat behind or a horse trail. That's not what it's all about, or carry more than 5 people. Battery technology does have to improve a bit to be able to go bigger segments. 3 cars total coming that are all electric drive. So a light commercial delivery van and a sedan for the Infiniti division, so we've already talked about those. Our alliance partner Renault has 6. So there's lots of things coming on with electric vehicles.
Well, thanks, Mark. The other thing that Nissan rolled out here at the New York International Auto Show was their new Versa. Now, Versa has been a staple, the small portion of Nissan, the very smallest car that they actually made in the United States. And now, look what they've done. They've updated the design. It actually looks really cool. They're talking about a 1.6 liter engine. They're talking about something that's going to cost around $10,990. You have a car which is very usable. Those seats in the back fold down 60/40, so you can get loads of stuff in the back of the vehicle. It has a 1.6 liter engine, and its fuel economy is around 37 miles a gallon, which means they're getting closer to that big attainable goal of 40 miles a gallon. Now you have a small sedan, which is actually economical to run, looks really cool, and of course the technology on the inside of this car is A1+. You're getting everything that you'd expect in a mid-size sedan, now in something as small as a Nissan Versa. They've gone from a very small basic car that barely had carpets to something that is quite luxurious and does great fuel economy, but it's also designed for the American market. It looks good, it drives well, and anybody can afford it if they're in the car business. We've all fallen in love with the smart cars when they first came to the United States. This little 2-seater vehicle has been a huge hit. A lot of the people that are buying these vehicles are buying them not only because they do great miles a gallon, but also because they do great for the environment. They're lessening the footprint and making it much better to own a vehicle, much greener to own a vehicle. So the natural progression for smart car is to go from a very small gas-powered vehicle that leaves a very low carbon footprint to an electric vehicle. In fact, there's 250 now deployed in the United States of the Smart for 2 electric version. This vehicle is only costing people about $599 a month on a lease basis. But what it's doing is lessening that footprint even more. To make a smart electric car available to everybody is their goal, and that's going to happen in the next few years to come. In fact, if you're already into one of these smart cars, the electric versions, as the new generations roll out, as the ones that roll out that are even better, can get longer miles and get a better battery charge, you will automatically get put into one of those. So we're going from a vehicle which is now in its initial stages with 250 deployed to getting a lot more on the road. And if you were one of the first people to get into them, you're going to get the new technologies as they become available. Not only are smart, fun cars to actually own, but you can personalize them to make them your own. Look at this one. This is actually covered in those little disco ball mirrors. You can get your car like this, and I think you probably have to go to a special guy to get this done. But Smart is also coming with complete body transfers on the outside. You can personalize the vehicle on the outside and personalize it on the inside, choosing what color you want. In fact, you could actually have a different color panel for each panel of the vehicle. They're interchangeable. So it's a vehicle that can be personalized, and at the same time, you're putting a low footprint of carbon onto the road. So one of the things that people come to auto shows for to see all the time is the concept cars. Now when you think of Scion, you don't necessarily think of a all-out sports car. Well, the FRS is doing that. It's showing us an all-out sports car that could possibly come from Scion. What is significant about this car? It has a boxer engine in it, which means it's a fairly low engine. Boxer is low in the ground, which means cornering, and your center of gravity is very low. So the car is great on a racetrack. It means that you can turn those corners much faster, and there's less sway and roll, less pitching of the vehicle. A 2-liter engine on the inside of this one, and it uses two kind of injections. It does the direct injection and the point injection. They're trying to maximize the amount of fuel they get out of a vehicle. But all that means nothing. Just looking at the car, looking at the design, makes everybody go, wow, I want one of these in this beautiful code red color.
Muscle and gas savers when the ride show continues. The place is New York City, where Hyundai roll out 4 cars that get 40 miles a gallon or better, and the Mazda Minagi is here.
A lot of automakers around the United States and abroad are rolling out maybe 1 or 2 vehicles that do over 40 miles a gallon, but Hyundai have that quartet going of 4 vehicles that do over 40 miles a gallon. The Sonata Hybrid, the Veloster, the Accent, and of course the Elantra. But the Accent is all new for 2012. In its 4th generation, a 1.6-liter engine is going to be under $13,000. And this vehicle is, again, an attribute to a company that really gets the fact that gas prices over $4 a gallon hurt people in their budget. And that means if they can get the gas usage up of a car to get more miles out of it, they can do things like give us more money in our budget. The Accent, a perfect example, a very sporty, roomy car. This has all your connectivity, including iPod, Bluetooth, and of course your USB connectivity. Great sound on the inside, and it's kind of fun to be able to drive a vehicle which looks good too. A lot of times you've driven economy cars in the United States that cut back on your look, so you're driving very plain, a very basic car. Now they all have power windows, power locks, great carpeting, really nice interior design, and well-bolstered seats. So you can even take these vehicles on a road trip. A new car revealed at the New York International Auto Show by Hyundai. So what would an auto show be without rolling out something that was big, muscly, and manly? No, I'm not on display, but it is the new Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT8. We're talking about an SUV that does a top speed of 155 miles an hour. You might want to take the kids out of the back seat before you actually do that sort of speed in the car. We're talking about an off-road vehicle that does 0 to 60 miles an hour in around 5 seconds. And it's not all about big American muscle and power. They're talking about getting fuel economy. It's merely up by about 13% in this vehicle. That gives you all of that legendary Jeep off-roading in such a sporty package now. These vehicles are becoming super popular with people. You're talking about an added package, the SRT8, on something that was in the Second World War, a Jeep, which was powering the US military. And now it's such a great performance vehicle. So if you're looking for that SUV that does 155 miles an hour and has 465 horsepower, look no further than the SRT8. You've always got a race car inside an SUV body. So behind me is what they call the Minagi concept. I can't say Miyagi. He was the guy from Wax On, Wax Off, you know, from the Karate Kid movies. It's Minagi. And this is a concept. It's actually going to be the CX5. When the CX5 is rolled out, it will look very similar to this. There will be some very minor changes from the Minagi to the CX5, which will be the 4th SUV in the Mazda lineup. They also have the CX7 and the CX9, and of course the Mazda Tribute. But they're also adding new technology to their vehicles called SkyActiv. Now they told us, and I've done a little research, it's very true that out of a gallon of gas that you only get 30% of the fuel's possibility into engine power. 70% of that is actually lost into heat. So what Mazda is saying is they can do better than that. If they can just up the amount of the fuel energy that they turn into power by 5%, so they get 35%, they'll actually get a much better engine. And that's what the Sky Active is doing. Along with a new engine, they're putting new transmission into their vehicles and getting much better fuel economy out of them. In fact, they're close to 40 miles a gallon. The Mazda 3 is a perfect example of this. It's fairly old technology. When I say old, I mean it's currently available on the street. But by adding the Sky Active into it, what they're doing is upping the fuel economy to around 40 miles a gallon. So the difference is they're using new technologies in old vehicles to actually get a better miles a gallon. Imagine what they can do when they start making new technologies right from scratch with that Sky Active. I bet you in the next few years we're going to see vehicles that can do 50 miles a gallon on upwards. Once gas is over $4 a gallon, it's made such a difference. These car companies are trying to work with what they have to make it much better for the consumer.
Still to come on the Ride Show, we're going to take a trip over to the Ford booth here at the New York Auto Show to take a look at the new Ford Taurus SHO, and Audi's A7 will be unveiled. Welcome back to the Ride Show from the New York City Auto Show. We'll have a look at the 300 SRT8, the Subaru Impreza, and the Acura Shield TL.
So we saw the Chrysler 300 rolled out recently at an auto show, and it was a brand new vehicle for North America. In fact, Detroit is the first time we got to see the vehicle. The 300 is revolutionizing the way Chrysler do business. Why? Because they no longer have to have that huge grille up front. They've really tailored it to be more luxurious. They've gone more Lexus as you would with it. A lot more refined materials on the inside and the outside, and a lot more subtle design, but still high-class car. Well, you want a high-class car, but you also want to be able to go really fast. So the same engine that they put in that SRT8 Jeep Grand Cherokee is in the SRT8 Chrysler 300. We're talking about 465 horsepower, one of the fastest full-size sedans in North America, and it has that 6.4-liter Hemi on the inside. What more power could you possibly want? With all the luxury that you get on an SRT8 300, this vehicle is catching the eye of people who like to go fast, but like to have all the amenities too. One of the vehicles we noticed at the New York International Auto Show is this Acura TL. It's called a Shield Edition. They have partnered Acura with Thor the movie and Marvel Comics to bring this special official vehicle of the Shield Force. We looked at the price. $198,000 base price, $227,000 in change once it's got some extras on it. Please explain.
The Shield Edition 2012 Acura TL is what you can see in the movie Thor coming out on May 6th. It is a special edition that is used only by Shield agents. Comes with a great deal of new technology, ties in directly with the advanced technology of Acura. One of the most obvious pieces you can see here is the sound cannon on top of the vehicle, which is used both for crowd dispersion and for the neutralization of enemy combatants. Well, if you're using it for crowd dispersion, you would use it at a lower setting, which would actually push a crowd out with a blast of sound. If you're using it in a more combatant technology, it goes up to 1,000 decibels and can neutralize an enemy combatant up to 2,000 yards away. A couple things of interest that you do have bulletproof hypertread tires, so you have increased traction, and obviously the bulletproof aspect would keep anybody from being able to shoot your tires out. The vehicle is also equipped with viroclone technology, which produces a hologram of the surrounding environment, which can confuse your enemies as well.
It's not a North American debut, it's a world debut for the new Subaru Impreza. This car is important because it is the most fuel-efficient all-wheel drive in North America. And Subaru have done a really good job about making it part of the family. You look at the Legacy, you look at this, they look like they're one of the same family, which is really cool. Now, you can throw pretty much anything at Subaru. Snow, ice, off-road, wet, whatever it is, the all-wheel drive of Subaru can handle it. And of course, Subaru have another boxer engine in them. That's right, that's their trademark, the boxer engine, low, so you can do some off-roading. One of those instead of one of those. Also, this vehicle, not an inch bigger on the outside, but on the inside, 20% bigger, and that's because they're using plastics again on the inside with a lot of new technology to actually make more space on the inside and reconfigure it. The Subaru Impreza is going to be in stores very soon, between 17 and 18,000. Comes in a 4-door sedan or a 5-door hatch, and it is made as one of every plant that Subaru does with very little emissions. In fact, in Subaru's North American plant, they have 0 landfill to try and keep that carbon footprint down. So when you're buying the car, you know, not only is it gas efficient and helps put very low carbon footprint on the road because of the gas, but also in the manufacture of the car, they've kept it very green as well.
When the ride show gets back in gear, we'll visit the new Ford Taurus SHO. Ford are having one of their best years ever in sales, and it's supported by this new muscular beast. It's the Ford Taurus SHO, and still to come, the Audi A7.
I don't know if it makes your heart beat a little faster, but Ford rolled out the SHO. This is the Taurus SHO for 2013. Now, the Taurus is making a lot of waves across the country, and there's several reasons for that. One of those reasons is coming very soon is the new Taurus police car. Those Crown Vics were such an important part of every police force around the country, and now they're going to roll into the Taurus being the new police vehicle. But not only that, this also comes with an EcoBoost engine. We're talking about getting great gas mileage and power out of that new Ford technology in the EcoBoost. Now, 31 miles a gallon is where you might be at for economy. The SHO to me looks really cool. It's inspired by performance. It's that race car feeling when you get a full-size sedan. And Ford continues their role with doing great things with what they had to work with in their stable. They're taking their cars and making them much more fuel efficient. They look really cool, and the technologies on the inside are so much more advanced. We're now not talking about just having things like Bluetooth, which everybody has, but these guys are getting rain-sensing wipers on the inside of their car, heated steering wheels. It gives you so many more extras in these cars than you were getting just a few years ago. Ford are really upping the game plan, and they're definitely proving that to us with the new 2013 Taurus SHO. Audi's becoming one of the world's premier brands with their R8, their Qs, which is their SUVs, and their A vehicles, which is the sedan. It starts very small at the A3, which is a sort of hatchback style vehicle, all the way up to the largest, the king of the crop, which is the A8. The A8 comes with a W12 engine now. 12 cylinders in a full-size luxury vehicle. Also has very cool speakers that pop up out of the dash and actually push the sound from side to side rather than just throw it back in the vehicle. It's high-end luxury, but Audi have become more bold and aggressive over the last few years to make some really premier sedans. Well, we ended up talking to Anthony from Audi, who told us a little bit about the design of their new A7 and also how their new A6 is bringing up the pack.
Yeah, the A7 is an all-new concept for Audi, and it fits between our A8 flagship and our all-new A6, which we're introducing later on this summer. And it's a 5-door coupe that combines the sportiness and emotional design of a coupe with the luxury, the practicality, and technology that you get out of a luxury sedan. So it really fits perfectly in between those two segments of the market for us. Yeah, the idea with the A7 was our designers were given a clean sheet of paper. And you know, this could be a marketing term, but this is really what happened with these guys. They were told, come up with a beautiful car for our C and D segments that we call these segments. And the car they wanted was to express Audi in a progressive way, in a modern way that's also really shows what a true sports sedan could be. Now, this is a very progressive concept in that it doesn't have the traditional sedan look to it, but it has a very beautiful flowing feel to the outside. And then on the inside, they also came up with a completely new interior language for Audi that has a wraparound interior with lines that make everybody in the interior feel like they're part of the interior, but also gives it a lot of room within the inside. So you'll see there's a lot of new materials inside, new woods with different finishes that are they've had a great reception so far on the market. And the car actually went on sale this week, and we've had a tremendous reaction to it, and we've had really good feedback so far. The new A6, it will be introduced. It's out now, but it will be in dealerships later on this summer. It's the all-new generation of our midsize luxury sedan, and once again, it's built of aluminum hybrid lightweight construction. It has all the technology that we've introduced with the A8. It's been brought down also into the A6 and of course the A7. We have an all-new for Audi a head-up display that has full color, has information such as your navigation information, the speed you're driving. If you have night vision, you can get the warning if the car is sensing that you might hit a pedestrian. You get this warning up in the head-up display. I think you can think of it in a few different ways, but there's product, of course, that always drives what your company stands for. There's also the people in headquarters back in Ingolstadt as well as here, and there's the brand of what this all stands for. And when these all work together, you can really see the direction we're going with the sporty, progressive, and sophisticated brand and products. And really the idea is to bring products that fit the brand and make sure that these are also the same products that consumers really enjoy. So the idea is to be more product focused while being true to your brand. And when these two come together, I think consumers also really see what you stand for and they're attracted to that type of a brand.
Thanks for watching this week's Ride Show. As always, we try to bring you the best, and this week coming to you from the New York City Auto Show, where automakers rolled out the new cars for the end of the auto show season. You can find these segments and more on Facebook, MySpace, YouTube, and of course you can chat with us on Twitter. Our website is therideshowtv.com, where you can see these segments and more. Until we return on the show, bon voyage, baby!